This is one of those moments where you take a breath and realize the playoffs are officially here, and there is no easing into it. The matchup is set. The San Francisco 49ers are heading on the road to Philadelphia to face the Eagles in the wild card round. And right away, this feels bigger than a normal first-round playoff game. Two massive brands, two physical teams, two fan bases that expect to be playing deep into January, and only one of them is going to survive this weekend. If you're a 49ers fan, you already know there are no soft landings in the playoffs, but this one hits especially hard because of how difficult the path suddenly became. This is the reality after the regular season finale. The loss to Seattle didn't just sting in the moment, it reshaped everything. Instead of a smoother road, the 49ers are now walking straight into one of the toughest environments in football. Lincoln Financial Field is loud, hostile, cold, and unforgiving, especially in the postseason. And now the Niners have to go there against an Eagles team that knows exactly who they are and what they want to do. There's no mystery here. There's no warm-up game. It's immediate pressure, immediate intensity, and immediate consequences. What makes this matchup so compelling is that it doesn't feel random. This isn't some fluky pairing. These are two teams that believe they belong among the best in the NFC, and now one of them is being told to prove it right now or go home. From a National League perspective, this is the kind of game the league wants. From a 49ers perspective, this is the ultimate test of resilience. You're walking into a playoff game where the margin for error is razor thin, and every weakness you've had all season is about to be challenged. Before we go any deeper, make sure you're locked in here. If you want daily playoff coverage, breakdowns, and honest analysis throughout this run, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're pushing toward 1,000 subscribers, and every single one matters, especially during a playoff football. Let me ask you this right away, and I want you to answer honestly in the comments. Did you want this matchup? Yes or no? And do you believe road games like this build champions? Or would you have rather seen the Niners at home? Drop your thoughts below, because this game is going to spark a lot of debate. Now, to really understand why this matchup feels so heavy, you have to look at how the entire NFC picture collapsed into this exact collision. And that's where we're headed next. To understand why the 49ers ended up in this spot, you have to zoom out and look at how chaotic the NFC picture became once the regular season wrapped up. Everything hinged on that final weekend, and the ripple effects were massive. The Seahawks take care of business. They win the NFC West, and suddenly, the entire conference reshuffles. That single result pushed San Francisco out of a protected position and straight into the most unforgiving version of playoff football, a road game against a rested, physical Eagles team. What makes it even tougher to swallow is how close things were. A different outcome, one or two breaks going the other way, and we're talking about a completely different path. Instead, Seattle locks up the top seed and the bye. Chicago slides into the 2 spot because of tiebreakers, and Philadelphia stays right where they are after choosing to rest starters. Whether you agree with that decision or not, it mattered. The Eagles could have changed their path, but by resting players, they also made life harder for everyone else, including the 49ers. This is where playoff math stops being abstract and starts feeling personal. The Niners didn't just lose a game. They lost leverage. They lost control over their surroundings. Instead of dictating terms, they're now reacting to them. And in the NFL playoffs, reacting is dangerous. You don't get to hide flaws. You don't get time to settle in. Every matchup is designed to expose something. And this bracket lined up in a way that forces San Francisco to confront multiple issues all at once. I want you to think about this and answer in the comments. Do you blame seeding more than anything else? Or do you think the Niners simply put themselves in this position? And here's a simple yes or no for you. Was the number 1 seed everything this year? Let me know where you stand. The hard truth is that the NFC didn't give San Francisco a soft landing. There are no rebuilding teams here. Every opponent left is dangerous, physical, and well-coached. But Philadelphia represents the most extreme version of that challenge because of where the game is played and how their roster is built. This isn't just another playoff matchup. It's the result of a season's worth of small moments adding up to one massive test. If you're getting value from this breakdown, do me a favor and hit the like button. It helps the channel more than you think. And if you're new here, subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because now that we've set the context for how the 49ers ended up here, it's time to talk about why this specific matchup is so dangerous for San Francisco. And that's where things get real. This is where the matchup starts to feel uncomfortable if you're a 49ers fan, because when you line up the strengths of Philadelphia against the weaknesses of San Francisco, you can see exactly where the stress points are. The biggest one starts up front, on defense. The Niners have been fighting injuries all year, and when you lose cornerstone players, there's only so much scheming that can make up for it. Without Fred Warner, the middle of the field becomes vulnerable. Without consistent dominance along the defensive line, stopping the run turns into a weekly struggle instead of a strength. We saw it clearly in the loss to Seattle. The Seahawks committed to the ground game, and the 49ers couldn't get them off schedule. Long drives, chunk runs, and an overwhelming time of possession kept the Niners' offense on the sideline and completely out of rhythm. That's not just a one-week issue. It's been a pattern whenever San Francisco faces a physical running team. And now, they're going up against an Eagles offense that is built to test that exact flaw. Saquon Barkley is still powerful, still explosive, and still capable of wearing down a defense over 4 quarters. Pair that with a physical offensive line, likely getting Lane Johnson back, and you're looking at a matchup that demands discipline and tackling from the first snap to the last. And that's another concern: tackling. Missed tackles have quietly become a problem. And in the playoffs, missed tackles turn into explosive plays. A.J. Brown is not easy to bring down. Devonta Smith is slippery in space. Dallas Goedert is a nightmare for linebackers and safeties, especially without Warner patrolling the middle. When you combine that with uneven linebacker play and safeties who are better against the run than in coverage, you start to see how quickly things can spiral if the Eagles find a rhythm. Let me pause here and ask you something. What worries you more in this game, the run defense or pass coverage over the middle? Drop one in the comments and tell me why. And give me a simple yes or no. Do you believe this defense can hold up for 60 minutes in Philadelphia? The challenge doesn't stop there. Jalen Hurts gets criticized, but the production is real. Multiple seasons of high touchdown totals don't happen by accident. He doesn't need to be perfect if the run game is working and the defense is controlling field position. And that's the danger. Philadelphia doesn't need to play a clean, explosive game to win. They can grind you down, shorten the game, and force you to press when opportunities disappear. If you're still watching right now, make sure you're subscribed. This kind of honest, detailed breakdown is what we're doing all postseason as we push toward 1,000 subscribers. Hit like if you appreciate analysis that doesn't sugarcoat reality. Because as concerning as the defensive side is, the other half of this matchup might be just as important. When the 49ers have the ball, everything hinges on protection, rhythm, and whether the offense can survive the pressure that's coming. And that's exactly where we're headed next. When the 49ers have the ball in this game, Everything starts with one simple question. Can they protect Brock Purdy long enough for the offense to breathe? Against Seattle, we saw what happens when that answer is no. Pressure arrived early and often, and the entire offense collapsed before it ever found a rhythm. That's especially dangerous for a system like Kyle Shanahan's, because this offense is built on timing, spacing, and sequencing. When the quarterback is rushed, the entire structure falls apart. Now look at the opponent. Philadelphia's defense is built to do exactly what Seattle just did, and in some ways, do it even better. Their defensive line can take over games. They can overwhelm offensive linemen, collapse pockets without blitzing, and force quarterbacks into mistakes. That becomes even more concerning if Trent Williams is limited or unavailable, because without him, both the run game and the pass protection take a hit. And if the Eagles don't need to blitz to generate pressure, it frees them up to clog passing lanes and sit on routes. This is where the lack of depth at wide receiver starts to matter. The 49ers don't have a lot of margin for error at that position. Injuries have taken away speed and vertical threats, and that allows defenses to compress the field. Philadelphia's secondary is aggressive, physical, and confident. They're comfortable playing man coverage, and they trust their linebackers to handle tight ends and backs underneath. That means fewer easy throws, fewer quick answers, and a lot more stress on Purdy to make something happen under duress. I want you to weigh in here. Do you trust this offense to score 30 points in this game, yes or no? And what do you think is the biggest key when the Niners have the ball, pass protection, or explosive plays? Drop your answer in the comments. What makes this matchup so tricky is that Philadelphia doesn't need to be perfect on defense. They just need to be disruptive. If they can eliminate Christian McCaffrey early, force third and long situations, and keep the 49ers behind the chains, the offense starts pressing. We've seen that movie before. When the run game stalls and the pass rush gets home, the Niners struggle to sustain drives, and suddenly, time of possession flips against them. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. We're chasing 1,000 subscribers, and playoff football is when this channel is going to be at its best. Because as difficult as this matchup looks on paper, the playoffs have a way of flipping expectations. And for San Francisco to pull off an upset, there is a very specific path it has to follow. That path, and whether it's realistic, is what we need to talk about next. This is the part of the conversation where hope meets reality, because even in a matchup this tough, there is still a path for the 49ers to pull off the upset. It's narrow, it's demanding, and it requires near-perfect execution. But playoff football has never been about what's supposed to happen. For San Francisco, the first key is surviving the opening stretch of the game. They can't afford an early hole. They need to stay connected, keep the score tight, and prevent Philadelphia from settling into a run-heavy, clock-controlling game script. If the Niners are going to win, they need explosive moments. Not sustained perfection, but timely shots that flip momentum. That means someone on offense has to step up and make a play that isn't drawn up perfectly. It means winning on early downs, stealing possessions, and forcing the Eagles to chase points, instead of sitting comfortably behind their offensive line. When Philadelphia is forced to open things up, that's when mistakes can happen. That's when turnovers become possible. Defensively, it has to be a group effort. They won't dominate, but they can disrupt. A couple of negative plays, a timely sack, a red zone stop, something that forces a field goal instead of a touchdown. In the playoffs, that's often the difference. And if the Eagles' offense has one of those uneven games we've seen at times this season, the door cracks open just enough for San Francisco to step through. Now, I want your prediction. Who do you have winning this game? SF or PHI? Drop it in the comments and tell me why. And give me a simple yes or no. Do you believe in a road upset? No matter how this plays out, this is the kind of game that defines seasons. Philadelphia has the advantages. They're at home, they're healthier, and they're built for this style of football. But crazy things happen in January. Momentum shifts fast. One turnover, one busted coverage, one big play can change everything. The 49ers know the road is harder now. They've admitted it, but they're not backing down from it. If you've watched this far, do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and help us get to 1,000 subscribers. We've got full coverage all week, breakdowns, watch parties, and everything you need leading up to kickoff.